Hey guys, Grayson here. We are going to be taking a look at the 2015 SPL Social Cup. It's going to be next weekend, so hopefully I get this video up. It's been a busy few days, and I'm dropping the ball here a little bit, but here I am. The program I usually use to record these videos is, I guess they don't make it anymore. I just found out, so I'm gonna have to kind of do this the old school way, where I'm just screen recording on my computer instead of my iPad. So you're gonna kind of have to bear with me and basically just follow my mouse around, and then so I do have some guys out here on the field right now. Don't want to get into that just yet, but it's going to be for my breakout later. But let's jump right into this. So again, sorry guys, I don't have the usual tools I normally have. We're just gonna have to make do with what we got here. But we'll still get a good breakdown out of this. So like usual, I want to start on the snake side. I like this snake. We do see that it's broken apart, obviously right here. But we have a big 50 apparatus that I think is going to be super powerful. You have corners, they can see down the wire. So right away, that makes the corner very important, makes the snake very important. Now these first snake beams right here, these should be, I kind of like the idea of this, even though it's broken up, it should make it pretty easy to make off break, which puts you in a good position to get into that 50 part. But you will have to be, smart about it. You can't just, slide into snake one and jump across to snake two. That's a pretty big gap, but you should what the goal, I think what the goal should be on the snake side is, obviously your attacker wants to get into this snake one bunker. You want to get your snake support guy out to this corner, and with those two guys in those two spots, they should be able to wrap and see anybody that's potentially locking out this zone. The one guy we got to worry about looks like this big Mayan temple. It looks like he has a pretty open gap to shoot you moving across. It's one of those things, though. It's for me, it's hard to tell on these 2D layouts. But what I want y'all to look at tomorrow, if y'all are practicing this field tomorrow, if you're not too hungover from Halloween, you're able to practice this field tomorrow. I'm curious if this temple can see that bump. If he can, then that's somebody you're going to have to fight to put in. You're going to have to wrap and make sure all these guys are kind of taken care of and accounted for. Back center won't give you too much trouble because this can's in the way. Potentially this Mayan temple as well, but this guy could be giving you the most trouble. If you can't directly see him, I mean, I feel like one of either this corner or maybe on the inside of the cake or potentially on the outside. You can see this guy and see if he's looking your way, and obviously you should be able to tell if he's shooting. That's a pretty big gap to go across. But it's one of those things. If it's hard to see this guy, he literally has to sit here and shoot an open gap. So I want you to look for blind shots that can potentially go into him, put him in, and allow you to get into the 50 part. Because honestly, we want to be in the 50 snake. And if we own this wire, I want to see guys crawling all the way down and getting into their snake. I mean, this is basically set up, this 50 apparatus. I mean, you have these mini races kind of breaking the snake up right here and right here. But, I mean, we know you're going to slide into snake 2. You're going to potentially play this if they have you beat down the wire. But your real goal is to get in the 50, play the inside. If you own this side, get into their snake and play their mini race. But that goes without saying. You shouldn't look at these mini races that are kind of put in the middle of the snake and just see what shots you have from there. You may have some different shots across the field into the Doritos, or potentially, like say from the 50 snake, we can't shoot Dorito corner. It's a possibility, but it looks like it's probably not there with all these bunkers in the way. But here, you back up to this mini race. As long as you're playing safe and it's going to be hard to shoot. Maybe they don't have this Mayan temple right here. Well, you can back up. Now you got a shot on that guy. So your snake guys and your snake support guys need to do a good job of walking this 50 apparatus and really know every single shot from there. And just where they are, based on where they are. Okay, yeah, like I said, perfect example. Like if they're in that corner, back up, one snake, boom, you can kill that guy. Obviously, goal is to get in their snake where most of these guys are going to die. Anyways, Yeah, so like I said, the support guy, his goal is to get us this corner. Whenever we have a snake where the corners can see down the wire, man, it becomes a super important bunker because what it does, first off, it gives you that angle on the opposition to hold them if they're not out wide. It also allows you to battle down the wire and get your snake player, up in position to get kills. It also is a good defensive bunker because you can control their snake player. Now you may be dealing with the snake player and the corner, but it's still you can keep tabs on that snake and really try to make sure he doesn't come into your snake. If in terms of shots off the break, this is kind of like the old school NXL field where they used to put the pins. They always used to keep the pins coming straight off the X or A. And so what this generally made, it made the fields pretty heads up until you got to the 50 or past the 50. One of the shots that I'm curious about, and that's why I kind of had this guy here on my breakout, is a cross shot from this Mayan temple into the snake or snake corner. Now you do have a good distance to get there, but that could be a really powerful shot. And then, like I said, a powerful lane to keep them out of the snake. Now this could be a boring job, but based on the way this snake side looks versus the Dorito side, I feel the snake's going to be powerful, and the team that makes it into this 50 apparatus and gets down it quick are going to be the teams that win on this paintball field. So, yeah, like I said, shots off the break. Obviously, your back center guy can shoot both ways, but these pins and cans will probably block a fair majority of shots. It still looks like there's some decent lanes on this field, which is good. I like seeing open lanes because it means you can get kills off their break if you're a good laning team, and you typically see a lot quicker points, not the boring cross shot pocket play we saw at World Cup. All right, so let's transition to this Dorito side. We got. Like this, there's this Mayan temple cross shot. There could possibly be a cross shot from this temple. The temple's going to be a little bit tougher to play and shoot that cross shot because of the fact that it's temple and it's shorter, and you're going to need to be a small guy. And honestly, like if you're coming here and shooting this way, you really shouldn't. You should be focusing on getting into the dang snake. I feel like this tall cake is going to probably be a pretty safe bunker. Just changing it up between tall cake. That Dorito 1 looks pretty dang far, but it could be easy to make as long as you're rotating between these three bunkers. If you are getting shot a lot over here, you can always stop short in this big Mayan temple. But that's you really got to make sure you're killing guys off the break on either side because you're breaking short on this Dorito side. It to me looks like this Mayan temple is going to be, if you're not shooting the cross shot, you can definitely play heads up and be the support role in this Mayan temple. It could be a mixture of even doubling the back center for a little bit and waiting for your Dorito guy to get out, and maybe filling behind him into this tall cake. Obviously the goal on this Dorito side, when these 50 Doritos are in set like this on the field, it generally makes it a weaker bunker. And I think that rule is going to hold true on this field because basically when you push it inside the field, we lose good angles and you lose dominance on the wire. You're basically creating harder shots, less advantageous angles on the inside, and you're also putting yourself at a disadvantage on the tape wire outside as well. So what you may really try to focus on is getting to this 40 Dorito. If you're even bodies with another team, getting to this 40 Dorito, controlling that wire, not moving inside and giving them a 2-on-2 or just 1-on-1 dominance on the wire. So getting this 40 Dorito. Now, if you have bodies up, what this bunker does do on the 50 when it's inset like this is create moves into their Dorito. And that's a very real possibility for you if y'all are bodies up and you'll have them trapped. Even if they've gotten wide, but you're let's say you're 2-on-1 on this side. That's almost even an easier move because this guy just looks down the wire and you make a quick up and over. Your 40 Dorito up into here, boom, right there. But like I said, you really should be, really only playing super aggressive down this Dorito side, moving into their Dorito, or the 50 Dorito if you have dominance on this wire and you have body advantage. And that's the thing. If you're able to get a kill off the side and trap them in the tall cake, trap them in the Mayan temple, you want your attacker obviously trying to get into the 50 and into their Dorito. And you want the support guy, if you're able to trap them, like I said, you want him following right behind your attacker so he can help out. So let's say I'll keep the orientation going left to right. So let's say we've trapped them in this tall cake. Our attacker is able to get to 50 Doritos, possibly making a move into their Dorito. I want my support guy. I want him following the attacker down the field. I want him right here in Dorito 1 hammering the outside of that bunker. Okay, my front guy's gotten set, his gun's on the wire. Okay, I'm going to move to Dorito 2 now, still hammering the outside. This guy's not letting them fill out. That is definitely a real possibility of how to win on this Dorito side. But like I said, I feel like you need to be bodies up. You can do it even bodies as long as you have them contained. But I feel like for most teams this coming next weekend, y'all shouldn't have too much trouble getting out to this Dorito side because honestly you should be and other teams should be focusing most of their firepower on this snake side so they can try to win this battle for the Big 50 snake. In terms of the center, again, I don't see it being that strong of a bunker. I see, or as strong as of a position on the field. I see, obviously this Mayan temple being a very good bunker. I see the temple, the snake side temple. It's definitely very playable. Both these bunkers are playable. The mini race. It depends. I should have talked to Israel. I don't know if you'll have coaching or if it's allowed or not. But the center has become more playable because of that. But the real key factor in that is you cannot be spotted going up there. If you're spotted going up there and you're playing against a good team, they take away any kind of advantage you had being up there. And the advantage of being up in the center is getting up there unseen, locking off a zone, picking a guy off as he moves because he doesn't know you're there. When you have to play a small cake or just one side of the A, you're really putting yourself in a tough situation where if they know you're there, you're battling out of one side of the bunker or you're battling out of this little tiny bunker back here. You can't see the complete other side of the field. They can move down that side, blow you away. It's one of the things I tell my members all the time. They'll use the center in the prelims against maybe not so good of a team. They see, oh, hey, the center works, and then they think it's going to work in the finals when they play a good team with good communication. All of a sudden, they're getting, the guy goes up the center, they lose, and basically, it's like one of those things, when you go up the center like that, you're making yourself so one-dimensional that you can't do anything else besides lock up one zone. You can bounce back and forth, but that's all you can do. You have to hope that the other team moves because you're not in a better battling position. And so that's what I tell these teams that, the center works against a decent or subpar team in prelims. All of a sudden they go to the finals, they try to go up the center. That guy's isolated at the center. He loses players behind him. All of a sudden he's all alone at the A, getting blasted in the face or getting blasted in the back. So it's definitely a center you need to be cautious about. It is playable, but be cautious about it. And your best bet is to get up there unseen, which I feel like is possible through this temple or this Mayan temple. If you see a G off the break, you can sneak up there real quick, get a quick kill. But yeah, my biggest thing I tell my guys on BKI is if you can't get up there early in the game, you get a quick kill or you see them break short on a side, you get up there quick, then you're more likely to get kills because they're going to try to fill out as per their own game plan. If it's late in the game, and everyone's kind of set, generally if you're making that move up to the center, your body's up on a team. But like I said, it's 30, 40, a minute into the game. You've already got them trapped. It's a very rare chance they're going to be moving, especially when they have some decent bunkers back here to hide in. They're just going to chill out. You're literally going up there and taking yourself completely out of the game, which obviously I don't want to see y'all do. So again, just to kind of recap, it's tough for me to tell exactly what the laning is going to be like, but I want y'all to look, Obviously this back center, you're going to see a lot of teams doubling that, shooting both ways. I like that. That's always a good play. You have two guys that can see the entirety of the field and relay it across the field immediately. I also want y'all to look at these cross shots. These could be, if you have quick guys that can take 2-3 steps out and come up and are shooting that cross shot the whole time, those could be some really good lanes on the corner, on the snake, on the Dorito 1, on the Dorito corner. From either of these bunkers, I really think this one is going to be the most powerful one because of the fact we're really going to try to win this side. Other than that, I like Dorito side versus snake side. I really think I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it again. The teams that get into this bunker, dominate this bunker, and are bodies up on the snake side can win matches from this bunker. You can have one dude hiding in this Dorito corner or hiding in this tall cake, and if you control this side and control this bunker right here, you can shoot out anyone on the field, and then get to go glory stick a guy in the snake corner or whatever. There could be possibilities of some moves on the highway where you can live, where you can use this wing. If they're in 50 snake, you're in S1. Everyone's lined up on the corner, worrying about battling down the corner, and this Dorito side's filtered out. There's really no one left in the center that can stop this little move right here, and basically you release from snake 1, blast the guy in the 50 snake, and now you're alive in this wing. Now you're in this wing, and you probably don't have the best shots anymore than the 50 snake does. But hey, if you can take a body and live, especially a body like this where they can do a ton of damage to your team, that's worth it at any point. So that's something you can look for as well. And also your corner guy, if you're defending against that, you need to be dominating that wire, but also just wrapping occasionally, just making sure there's nothing coming down that highway. Dorito side, again, if you're, when we see this 50 inset, you really want to be bodies up, having them trapped, and then you can push this side. Other than that, I'd really just try to get to this 50 Dorito, apply pressure on the snake side. This 40 Dorito, apply pressure on the snake side. 50 Dorito, you can get in there, but like I said, I'd like to see I'll rather be bodies up or have them trapped. And then again, the center, it's playable, but I'd like, I want to see I'll get up there unseen, sight unseen, and that's when you can do damage, and honestly more so early in the game than late in the game. Late in the game, I'd rather see, support guys filter behind their attackers. And, if you have that body advantage, especially on this side, especially on both sides, but, applying that advantage instead of going up the center and basically it's one of those things. Let's say, we have them stuck in this tall temple or this tall cake, and your attacker is able to get to Dorito 2, you have them trapped, and you come up to the A. Well, look at this guy. This guy can play this Dorito 2 without ever having to worry about you at all. He's not moving. It's late in the game. He ain't going anywhere. He knows he's got to shoot this guy before he even thinks about moving. Now you've allowed this guy to play 2 one-on-ones right here instead of a 2-on-1 where you have 2 guns on this guy. So hopefully that makes some sense of why I'm a big proponent of that, because I'd rather see, if you have the advantage, you make this guy play a 1-on-2 instead of 2 one-on-ones. Now, to go to my little breakout, like I said, you're gonna have to bear with me because I wanted to have my old program, but I didn't. So I'm kind of dealing with this silly old preview. So I'm gonna just draw the lanes I want to shoot. So this is the break I have. I want y'all to look at this cross shot. I think this cross shot could be powerful, so I'm throwing it in there. This play right here is going to be obviously a heavy snake play. We're breaking short on this Dorito side. We're putting a majority of, basically our back center gun's the only gun that is going to be Dorito way. You need to be careful because this play is it's a tricky play because you theoretically have guys shooting lanes off the break, and they can either stay this way. So honestly, this temple guy could stay this way. If they do make it out wide and he holds a snake zone, the back center stays this way and ends up filling up behind the Dorito. Or these guys could potentially these guys could potentially switch on you. Where they're switching. This temple guy would shoot snake and then switch Dorito. Back center would shoot Dorito, switch snake. They need to talk to each other and tell them what the hell's in front of you. But I don't know. This is a breakout. I've known. I've seen similar field outs to this. We've run something very similar to this. I like it, but it takes very good communication. So obviously the goal of this, we're breaking short on the Dorito side, not giving up any free bodies. We're sending heavy lanes, which I think this cross lane could be very strong. Heavy lanes into the snake corner. We want to win the snake corner. And look, we're taking the snake corner for that very reason. We want to kill their corner runner, and we want to be in this corner. You know what? So we could almost, basically create a rule. If this temple guy gets a kill, he can honestly go. I'd like to see him go heads up. He tells the back center guy, "All right, switch. I killed that guy." The back center guy goes switches to snake side. Obviously, this guy sees that kill as well, so he's filling either into the temple or the Mayan temple. I'd like to see him try to dip into this Mayan temple, shoot his lane, and then dip over, and he becomes the attacker. The back center guy, who's switched lanes because they've gotten the snake kill, follows right behind him and applies pressure and doesn't let them basically fill out into snake corner or into snake. All right, guys. Well, that's it. If you'll have any questions, please, or like if any of these shots are there or are not there, please send me an email and just I will more than welcome to help y'all out, answer the tedious little questions on this field. Grayson at bkipaintball.com. All right, guys, take it easy.